Let's rock and roll.
Is this the proof print?
Almost brought my XD.
Awesome.
Yay!
Oh, wow.
Never before seen in the wild.
That's gorgeous.
It was still in the plastic.
I love the artwork.
That's beautiful.
The digital's beautiful.
Do you want to have that on the table as a display?
I don't see why
I
not.
think it needs to be.
My cell
One
phone
should
out.
open it up though and look inside because
Okay, all right.
Katie's like,
I like
Where do you
that.
want-
Look at it, look at it.
Is it signed by Tracy Hickman?
Dragon.
no.
So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know who she is. Oh, that's beautiful artwork.
I love her.
Yeah.
What is it?
This is our podcast. We're just gonna go through each
Flip through the
page.
book and
Yeah.
ooh and on.
Talk.
Hem
Yeah,
and
actually,
haw
this
over
is
it.
story time with Uncle Tracy. He can literally hold the book and turn the pages.
I'm so excited for this.
Then they
might
passed
be a
the
little much.
gold mountain.
The Big Rock Candy Mountain. There you
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Because I just want,
The Candy Mountain, Charlie.
But wait, there's
there's
more.
more.
Who is the art director?
Yeah.
It's beautiful art. The maps.
Actually, I did the maps.
Really?
Although then Kim, I did the maps largely in Incarnate.
Okay.
The original maps were done in Incarnate, and then they were redone by Kim Borey, who did our art direction. She also was in charge of like purchasing all the art,
That's awesome.
and we had originally we had taken the art that we had purchased and we'd massaged it through AI to clean it up. But there was such a hue and a cry about it that we removed all of the AI and just went with original art.
I think Genevieve is my fave at the moment. But
It is- it is
that's
gorgeous.
funny. Yeah. Anyone else who wants to look but Genevieve, I mean,
Is
here.
doing,
Yeah,
is doing the maps and the opposite of doing them posthumously?
Possibly,
Okay.
quite possibly. I like Incarnate because one, I can use it commercially since I bought the license.
Right.
And two, it is such a great way to come up with a beautiful map quickly.
Nice.
Right.
And that's what I really appreciate about it. It doesn't inhibit my creativity. It just gives me the tools I need to get there quickly.
Good.
And my time, my time's limited, so anything I can do to like speed the process up
It's
is
fair.
All about the efficiency.
is better. So I wanted to come and share this because I was so excited. We just barely got this back from the printer.
Awesome.
It ships next month?
It is
As soon as
beautiful.
we can get it
As soon as
back.
you get it back? Okay.
Yeah, it actually has to
The
ship
edging.
to 2 distribution
Yeah,
centers.
that's right.
We have one in Europe and one here in the States.
Thematic for the
And that we'll be distributing
done
from.
very well.
But it's not, of course, it's not just this. We've also got the GM's guide, the Skymaster's guide.
Nice.
Skymaster's guide has got Larry Elmore art on the cover.
What's the back?
Bless Larry, he said, no, I'm not doing commission artwork anymore, but I'll do one more for you.
One more.
And so we have that in the next arc,
Yeah.
and then or the next book. But then we've also got the dice mat scrolls
Oh.
that have the map of the world on the exterior. So it's really
Is that the interactive one?
Well, that's the
It
AR
is.
app that's coming out, yeah.
yeah. Actually, the AR is designed to work both with the book and with the scrolls.
Nice.
I'm very excited actually about the AR app. Every map that's in this book of the different towns is designed to be used with the AR.
Good.
And it's kind of fun because if your character is from the location, you get different information than everybody else.
Oh,
That's very
cool.
So if everybody comes to your town, you can tell them, well,
So the benefit is everyone at the table should be from a different location.
And
that
have
would
your
be most
phone
helpful.
and be willing to use it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Liz is
actually,
gonna be okay with that.
the phone was actually an important question for us because we've had a cardinal rule with this project, and that is that the game must be on the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
That we didn't want like 8 people sitting around all looking at their phones. That was anathema to what we were trying to achieve. What we wanted to do is to use the app and the phone and the AR aspects of the phone to enhance what was going on the table. We created something that's heavily featured in the
That's not gonna last.
2 phones.
That's what she said.
And look, it didn't.
we created something in the
Just stack.
called Insight.
Okay.
Because there's the age-old problem in role-playing games where what you know and what your character knows are different things.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with what your character knows and it's always kind of been a little on the kludgy side that, DM tells you what your character knows, right? And everybody hears what your character knows, so now I can't keep any secrets about what my character knows. So what we're doing instead is we have Insight and the 10 different legendary characters all have symbols on them. And each of them represents a different area of knowledge. One of them is a historic figure that deals with aeroship flight.
Oh, nice.
One is a historic character that deals with legends and tales. Another is a legendary character that deals with creatures of the world, the Bogranus bestiary. And so, if you want, you can scan that symbol to try to get insight about the location that you are at. So the GM puts the location you're at, and then anybody may scan any of those characters and see if they have insight in that particular area.
Nice.
It's all tied to your characteristics, and so it says, well, you have to make this, you need to meet this number. And if you do meet that number, then it will respond directly to you in the app what you know, what your character knows. Then you can decide whether you want to inject it into the game or not. The nice thing about that is that instead of the GM saying, you know this, right? Instead, diegetically inside the game, you can say, well, I've heard about this place before, and there's a story about this place, and anciently there was a big battle that took place here.
That's cool.
And so, again, it puts the play on the table, and it does it diegetically so that we're not having to constantly break out of it.
It makes it feel so much more immersive.
Yeah, exactly. But immersive in a congregational sense,
Right.
in a community sense.
Right.
Well, one of my favorite things,
I'm glad we've started.
honestly, I was just gonna be like, hey, we could just edit in an intro at the end of all this and just smack it.
And by the way, this was.
Yes. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say one of my favorite things to do at the table is really play with what my character knows versus what information I'm willing to share with the people around me. Like if I'm playing a rogue or something like that, and I come from a family that's a crime family, or the complete opposite, like if I'm somebody who, my dad's not very proud of me because of the decisions that I've made, but I want to have some sort of clout at the table, like, oh, I'm, head
Yeah.
honcho. Maybe I don't want them to know that my parents were just, merchants or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that that's very, very cool. Like, to get that depth of player knowledge and background knowledge without it just hitting the table for everybody to know. It gives you that faculty to be able to play with. How do I want this to affect the game? How do I want this to affect my character and my relationship with the people at the table?
Right.
It's really neat. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to get this taken care of. We've been working very closely with World Anvil to provide us a data side for us.
For those who don't know, we're talking about the Sky Raiders of Amarok's Sky
I was
Raiders
going to say,
handbook.
yeah.
At the moment, for if you didn't back it on Kickstarter or back I don't remember.
Originally it was Kickstarter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kickstarter uses back.
but it is available.
And we are using back.
It is available for people can still pre-order it.
Oh, heck no.
No, that's
No,
it.
if you haven't gotten it by now, it's just too bad.
They'll never
I hope you have friends that love you who bought it for you.
On the other hand, we do have one or two of our backers, a couple of our backers who are very, very upset that it's taken us this incredible length of time to get this done with, and every time I post, they put up they complain and bitterly
Yeah,
about
stop it, Josh.
It's not me.
Stop it, Josh.
It better
You
not
are
be either.
so getting yours last.
That's right.
How long did it take?
I think we're probably at 3 years, but quite frankly, the world that we've developed has got such depth to it, and we have inserted a number of what I think are really positive mods, I guess, to 5e. Which no matter what they want to sell, I don't think is going away right away.
Right.
I mean, I'm very, very happy with our ethos system rather than alignment,
Okay.
because I think ethos works much better than alignment, especially because ethos changes,
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
which means that you can change.
Right.
Okay.
Your character can
Your character
evolve.
can
yeah.
evolve.
Okay.
I think it's a very, I think it's a poor idea that people are one thing and cannot change, cannot evolve,
Right.
cannot improve. If that's the case, then there's no point to time.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Time for me exists so that we can get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I very much love the ethos system that we've built into this particular game. I'm also very happy with it's not. It can't be skills. It can't be. It's now I have to remember what we ended up calling it.
What do we
It's
call
like it's like a craft type of a system, in that you can learn. You can learn a profession.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
That you don't. Okay, I'm a fighter. I guess that's it. You know.
Right.
You know.
Exactly. I'm a barbarian. That's
I'm a barbarian. That's all I'm ever going to be. Yeah.
In the real world.
When in fact, because all of the professions that are in that are associated with aeroships, navigation and piloting and harpist. Okay, all of these professions nobody has at the beginning of the game. So how can you possibly have a class, right?
Right.
If it's not something you could have learned.
Right.
So I love the idea that you can take on a profession and that it acts sort of like dual class,
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
okay? But it's layered, and it's not nearly as punitive, I think, as dual class is.
Okay.
The idea that you can quickly evolve in a secondary set of skills,
Yes.
I thought was really very important, and I'm very excited about that as well.
It feels a little more true to life, also.
Yeah, and
I was going to say, that's the first time I've ever heard anyone describe, because I've always thought in both D&D and Pathfinder that the profession was sort of, it was there,
like a side quest.
sort of, if you
Yeah.
felt like
It's how
doing
you
it.
make money when you're not questing.
That's
Right,
exactly
yeah.
what it is.
And it was there as a side, like, okay, if you want to do something with it, it's there, but who really did much with it? Okay, all right, we have one. All right, so we're one
But
out
I
of.
understand, like most people don't because
Right.
there's not a lot
There's-
to it. There's
right.
not very robust.
And then where's the
It's just
benefit,
gonna be-
really? There's not.
Right.
Right.
So unless you want
The
to.
return on the investment is.
It's usually kind of poor.
Yeah.
In a lot of games. So that's already got my, like, that's already strikes me as different and very creative and cool. That, yeah, in real life, you're going to develop in your profession, you're going to develop the skills. And the ethos idea I'm fascinated with because we've already brought up how we're moving, Pathfinder's moved away from the alignment system. They've got anathemas and
Edicts.
edicts. But even then, you don't really change. Like, there's not a lot of discussion about how does a neutral evil character ever make a progression
Where's
into
the-
a neutral?
Yeah, where's the
Can they
redemption
ever?
story? Yeah.
Right, exactly. Are you just stuck there
Or
forever?
their,
Well,
I get worse story.
Or the fall, right? Or the fall, right? The fall from grace.
I've always
you
thought
know?
that was the
We made
GM.
some assumptions that I think for me worked really well. The idea of lawful and neutral and chaotic, I think that worked.
Yeah.
You
have a lot of people who will follow the rule followers.
Right. and
The
then you
rule
have people-
breakers.
And rule breakers.
And then somewhere in
Right.
between.
Well,
But
you
the
were
other-
also
but the other
considered
axis
good
in
guys
that-
fighting the bad guys.
Right, yes.
And
Right.
now those
But it was
lines
the
blur.
good bad axis that I wanted to change.
Okay.
And we changed that axis to malevolent and benevolent.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
And malevolent was defined as self-centered
Yeah,
or
selfish.
self-referential. And benevolent was defined as externally referential or in concern with others. And that seemed to me to be a better gauge in terms of good and evil. Malevolent wasn't. First of all, I struggled with the idea that everyone thinks they're good.
Right.
Evil is something we call other people,
Yeah, that's very much.
right? And so, do I believe that there's good and evil? Yeah, I do, but then it calls into question who makes that call.
Right.
Did you say that Thanos thought he was right?
I mean,
Right, absolutely. And then if you watch the Eternals, he was. Just saying.
The best of villains are the villains who are absolutely convinced of the rightness of their cause.
They're
Yes.
convicted in what they believe, and they think they're doing something in a just manner. They
Absolutely.
aren't just out to be evil and mean. They're like, no, this has to happen. I'm
That's right.
doing the correct thing.
That's right.
Yeah, for the bad men,
uh,
X, Y, and Z.
Dr. Horrible.
Yes.
If you've not seen Dr. Horrible sing along blog,
so good.
watch it.
Yeah, and Dr. Horrible. He said, the world's a mess and I need to clean it up.
Right.
He's
Right.
the good guy. Ask him,
Yeah.
Right.
right? Every villain, everyone down through history who has even committed the most heinous of things has been absolutely convinced that they were right to do it. Perspective may be different from other people, but to me it became a question of their malevolence or their benevolence. Were they was the rightness of their cause entirely self-referential,
Right.
or was the rightness of their cause inclusive? And for me, that concept worked a lot better and gave a lot better nuance to characters. There you can have shades in there. You can have characters who are highly benevolent about most things, but one thing they're blind to. You can have characters who seem evil and yet will still go out of their way to save a child. I loved in the Fallout series, I loved the ghoul character.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved the ghoul character because, yeah, he's bad. But what is motivating him?
Right.
And we find out finally what is motivating him, and dude, he's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This and that kind of nuance I also wanted reflected in Sky Raiders. I wanted to give people the opportunity to create characters that had that kind of nuance that was quantified in the game.
Well, when you were talking about, so I have not gotten a chance to watch Fallout, but the first characters I thought of were like the comparison of Rick Grimes versus Negan in The Walking Dead. It's like when you get to look at their backstory and where they've come from, you start to at least understand the decisions that they're making, though you may not agree, which then kind of gives you that spectrum of, is it good, is it bad, or is it malevolent or benevolent? And I really love that scale too, just how much of a spectrum you really are able to give a character and how they ebb and flow within that throughout whatever that story arc or background arc or their whole campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was I attended a storytelling conference, and by the way, if you ever can go to a storytelling festival, go to a storytelling festival. The art of oral storytelling is so akin to the art of GMing a game, and has so much to say to the art of GMing a game. But I went to this, and if I've told this story before, I apologize, but I went to this storytelling festival, and the storyteller told this tale about how she had a friend of hers when she was just a kid, when she was very, very young, her very, very best friend had moved away, and they hadn't seen each other for all these many years and grown up, but her friend had written a book and was going to be signing in her town. And so she was so excited to go and see her friend from childhood at this signing. And she came up to this woman and she said, "Oh, I'm so excited to see you again. You were my best friend as a child." And the woman looked up at her and said, "I don't remember you at all. I don't know you." And she said, "Well, the last time we saw each other, I came over to your house and we played at your house, and then you were gone." And she stopped, and this woman looked at her and said, "I do remember you. That was the worst day of my life." My parents had just told me they were breaking up, and Dad had moved out of the house, and you came over to my house, and I couldn't show you how I was just shattered and broken. And I remember that. And you know, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry I even reminded you about this. And she said, "No." She said, "Let's go have dinner." She said, "Why? I've just, this horrible thing." And she said, and this is what has always struck with me. She said, "How can we be strangers now that I know your story?" And to know someone's story is to know who they really are. Not what they do, not how other people define them, but it's to really know them. And so I have, since then, I've tried to make a practice of not, when I meet people, not asking them what they do, as though their job defined them.
Nice.
But instead, I say, tell me your story. What's your story? And they'll say, almost, I say, oh, I'm not very interesting. I don't really have a story. And I said, no, you do have a story. And I want to hear it. Tell me about your story. Or even just a story from your life. And almost universally, the gates open and they reveal themselves through what they tell me about their story. What's important to them? What influences them? What guides them? And every time we become friends. Every time. To know someone's story is to know who they are, who they really are. So that's one of the wonderful things that's one of the wonderful potentials about role-playing games is that through this artifice, we have the opportunity to learn someone's story. If we'll listen, if we'll ask the right question.
I think we just got our interview question when we're ready to do our About Us.
Oh yeah,
Tell
yeah.
us your story.
That's good. Actually, that's a
I
great
like
idea.
that.
Yes,
Well-
it's going to lengthen this podcast by about 4 hours.
Gonna turn from podcast to a therapy session.
You know, well,
An autobiography.
Another story I'm going to tell you. Great. Another from my life.
We just titled these Story Time with Uncle Tracy. I
Oh,
hope you know
okay.
actually, yeah, that's actually one of our titles.
Well, there was a my wife's making grocery notes. Come on, my wife.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that.
It was Thanksgiving. Okay. And at my father's home, my mother and father's home, and we had come in for Thanksgiving, a special for this Thanksgiving. We'd flown in from Wisconsin to Flagstaff, and my mother's sister, my aunt, and her children came to Thanksgiving. We were all sat around the table, and everybody had been working all day to prepare this just incredible banquet, this feast that we all sat down to share. And my mother said, I'd like to try something for us a new tradition for us. I think we should go around the table and everyone should tell somebody else at the table what they're thankful for about them. It seems pretty. We started going around the table. And we get to my dad. And we get to my aunt, and she's grateful to my mom and my dad for inviting them here to share a time when there was family, because they so rarely had that in their home, to have this great feeling of family. Then we came to my father, and my father tells my wife for the first time ever that he loved her. And the tears start, and the sniffling is beginning. And by the time we get around the table, everyone is just bawling and so upset. Just everyone was so moved by this tradition that they'd all lost their appetite. We just got up, put the food away. Nobody ate anything.
They all got the dice, and then they started.
And that was
Wow.
That's
so
awesome.
every year now, when we get together at Thanksgiving, I say, let's go around the table. And if I get that far, everyone groans. No, we're not.
You do that before dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then you make better choices.
But But while it completely ruined the dinner, it was the telling of those stories around the table revealed everyone at the table, and it was the stories that we remember. So yeah, how can we be strangers now that I know your story? Ask people what their story is. Don't ask them what they do. Don't ask them where they're from.
Right.
You'll get to that. I've asked people to tell me their story, and they've told me their job, and that tells me a lot
Exactly.
too.
Exactly. Can I say, as a doctor, I have many times people come in and it's a list of, the medical assistant goes in and they're here for their right foot hurts and they've got the sniffles and the, whatever, and ear pain. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And so this gives me so much encouragement because there are times I'll sit down, I said, well, I know the medical assistant went through this list, but I'm going to change my wording because I'll say, why don't you tell me a story? I'm going to change it to, why don't you tell me your story? Because is a little too vague. And then as soon as I do that, it's so interesting because it's as if there's like, this, I'm the doctor, you're the patient, there's sort of this line and here we are. But when I say, tell me, like I said, I've said a story, it's going to change. Tell me your story. All of a sudden it becomes, there's permission there. There's that I see you. I don't just see the vital signs and the lists that the MA put in your medicines and blah, blah. I'm asking you to tell me, two people, nothing between us here, of what's really going on. And I will get all sorts of things that really are going on, other than that their toe hurts. So thank you for that. And I'm going to make that tweak of tell me your story, because that's incredible.
And from the patient's standpoint, one, they just want to feel better.
Yes.
And they want you to fix it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But I believe that they also don't want to bother you.
It's true.
Right?
They've done that more than once. Like, I know this is a silly thing
I know
to
it's a
bring
silly
in.
thing to
They'll
bring
say
in.
that, like, this is probably a really dumb question to ask you, or fill in
Exactly.
the blank. All of those kind of things. Like, I know you've got
look
other
like
things.
this?
Right. I mean, but this is true. They have this idea of, this is maybe beneath me to talk about, or I don't,
Well,
and I get that.
And the truth is, and it's sad, but the truth is that every now and then you will come across a doctor who just doesn't care.
Oh, I know.
Been
Just-
for a while.
I want to get through this interview. I want to get this diagnosis
Next.
done. I want to write the script and next.
Right. Yes.
But it's the doctor that asks that question that can find the problems beyond the hurt toe that are probably far more important to find
Yes.
and far more affecting their health and their mental as well as physical well-being.
Absolutely.
Than just kind of then write the script and move on.
Exactly. You get trust equity with that. And I
Yeah.
think that's not true on the game table as well as the doctor's office. If
Yes.
you get some trust equity
Oh, I
there.
love that phrase, trust equity.
I've not heard that.
I feel that from the last podcast we did. To be honest with you, like we got together last time. It was what, last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sort of how do we help people who are new to GenCon, or what are we talking about? What are our favorite moments? Kind of told our best stories of each other, and through those stories, those of us there, we really kind of got to know each other and
Yeah.
what we mean to each other even more, because some of us are in those stories, and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
People will come up to me at conventions like this and will tell me about my book.
Yeah, but it's a different story.
It is a different story. First of all, we have to recognize that, as Steinbeck said, there are as many books as there are readers, because every reader interprets it differently. And most importantly, I have discovered, the data density of a book is so minor is so small, really. But it's that spark that happens between the words that is provided by the reader entirely that creates the sights, the sounds, the smells, the experience, the presence, the meaning in the text. All of that is emergent from the reader.
Yeah.
It's not actually in the text.
Right.
The text acts as an evocation of meaning. And because of that, whenever people come in and tell me about my book, okay, our book, I've come to understand that what they're telling me is actually about their performance of my book. And what they created when they read the book. And that's a completely different thing.
Yes.
And that's a very personal thing that binds us together.
And that's why no movie is as good as the book, because in the movie they're showing you what you've already created in your head. So anyone who's read the book and then watches the movie says the book is far superior, because you've already watched that movie that you created.
Well, right, and bizarrely, it's far superior because I made it.
It's true.
You know, I like the book much better because I made it.
My version is better.
In my mind, it's much better.
It's much better than
A book
than
series
this
to bring back.
Marvel.
It's still okay that Tom Bombadil was cut from the movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The thing that came to my mind when you were talking about when people come up and talk to you about their book is something that I think early on when we started podcasting, we kind of joked around about, but we are all guilty of the good gamer story. Like, this happened to... What I've always found to be captivating and just fantastic about a good gamer story is a true good gamer story is not, so my character did this. It's always, so we were here in front of this dragon's cave. And it's like, we could have both played the exact same module. We could have all been in Ravenloft and just stared Strahd directly in the face. And the experience that we have in that immersive element at that time is different from player to player and from campaign to campaign and party to party. And it's just, like, I love hearing people talk about, so I'm sitting in this bar and then all of a sudden this strange mist fills the room, and I immediately go, oh my gosh, no. No, not again. Barovia got you, my friend. Oh my God. Did you meet the gypsies? Yes. You didn't take anything from them, right?
Right?
You left that deck of cards alone.
you gotta
just
go.
like, but it's so
Go
funny.
talk with the Vista.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying, like, it's always so fun to me, though, to hear exactly what you're talking about, like, to hear different versions of the same story, because different things affect you, or even like, I have run some games the last couple of years here for a company, and just hearing the different people's reactions to they could be 2 hours apart, and then at the end of the game, I'm like, what'd you guys think? What was your favorite part? And it's the same scenario, completely different responses every time. And that's what really excites me too, as a storyteller, as a game master, as a dungeon master, is to be able to get that experience, because I'm there facilitating that for them and that experience, but I'm also feeding off of that back and forth and that story play. Like, your characters are doing this. Oh, okay, cool. So my bad guys are going to do that. Ooh, this is exciting for me. I never had anybody just go right into the room before. Like, everybody always wants to hem and haw for an hour. That kind of stuff. It's just so fun to me. Like, and I kind of picture like that sort of an experience with.
Well, and then the
with
shared
that.
stories that come out of that too. Like, so many of us, those that have done Ravenloft, as an example, we hear the mist and we all have our visions of what the mist is.
I lean into it.
Yeah.
Well,
You're from there,
Go
so
for it.
Well, and I remember from our years playing Pathfinder, particularly Resmir. Praise
Oh, praise Rasmir.
Resmir be
It's
praised.
that guy.
Because it's turned out, I think
Yeah.
we probably have 10 or 15 of us that respond almost
my
exactly the same. Either Prince Rasmir or F that guy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's
So
I was coming to the convention, right? I got up at 3:00 this morning in order to catch the plane, and I'm at the airport, and the guy at the desk, right, goes on the loudspeaker and said, Tracy Hickman, would you please raise your hand? And said, higher. Right. And then about 5 minutes later, somebody came up to me and said, sorry to bother you, but could I get your autograph? I'm in the Salt Lake Airport. I haven't even gone anywhere.
It's like, I live 3 blocks from this.
You could have just come to the house.
We could have had dinner together. We could have told stories.
No, it was a lot of fun, actually. So, okay, but then later in the day, I'm on the little puddle jumper from Detroit, because apparently you've got to go to Detroit from Salt Lake in order to get to Indianapolis.
Chicago to come here.
I'm so incredibly sorry.
So I'm on this little puddle jumper from in Detroit, and there's this guy sitting across from me on the plane, and I said, so he said, yeah, I'm going to GenCon this second year. Oh, that's really good. Yeah. I said, what do you play? I was like, I play D&D. I said, well, what do you play? Do you do homegrown, or do you like, well, we do kind of a mix of it. He said, it's Strahd, but, it's got to be different every time, so you got to do something different with Strahd. And I said, well, Strahd's kind of set up to do something different pretty much every time. He said, yeah, I guess that's so. I said, I invented Strahd.
When did you drop the shoe?
And he looked at me like, no.
Right.
Do people drop that normally?
What a weird person are you to tell me something stupid like that?
See the back of the book.
Hold on, where's your Chris Strahd book? Flip it over. Tracy Hickman.
But you get that kind of that's the gamut of reactions from oh my gosh, it's you to no. No.
Because authors aren't real, especially fiction authors.
No, especially they're not. Well, if we are real, we've got smoking jackets and collies and our elbow on the fireplace.
Nothing but fancy living, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You're never in rooms in the Westin talking to a small
Hi, Mr. Bond.
Oh, I love you guys. This is always fun. What would you like to? Yeah. So anyway, we've got the Sky Raiders of Avarux that we're about to ship. I honestly don't know if we're going to open it up again and say, we've actually made the print run. I'm thinking we might want to go to Drive-Thru RPG with it so that it is available for people. Especially, we went to all this work.
Trying to make a little more.
Take a PDF to your favorite author and have them sign it.
And they could sign it. And
they could pay the hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a print run done.
they could. If somebody came to me and said, hey, I'd be happy to, yeah, okay. Although truthfully, I am thinking about doing a novel for it.
Oh,
nice.
Laura and I
Awesome.
might do a novel for it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, by the way,
I understand that, but it's always good to hear the wife is involved with the fiction stuff too.
okay, fair.
I'm absolutely just devastated. We were so excited about coming to the convention, and Laura took ill last week.
Oh no!
And she's just wasn't well enough to travel. So yesterday afternoon, she canceled her flights.
See, I told you he didn't have his handler.
You did not tell me that.
Well, it's one of y'all. Okay. But he has a handler. I was like, but do we know if Laura's
Well, I wish
here?
I had one because it's and in fact that's the last thing she said to me. She said, "Do not work the entire 4 days. You have got to take time." And the truth is, I'm just not the spring chicken.
I don't believe it for
Yeah,
an
we need to have
instant, but
brunch.
Just brunch.
regular brunch this time.
We love you, Laura. We love you.
Bless her, she really she insisted that I come because there's so much that's going on at this convention this time around.
That's exciting.
Like what?
Golly, what could that be?
I mean, other than the already, here it is.
I know, the other
Showing off.
part is.
This is for
more?
sale.
Oh, is there
Well,
even
this
more?
actually is an advanced reading copy of Dragons of Eternity, right?
Picking my copy up in the morning.
It's on this. It's on his calendar.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about the books tomorrow,
Yeah.
and the books that are being sold here at the convention throughout the convention, they don't actually go on sale until next week.
Oh.
If the digital
I
copy
noticed
my
that
phone
on the ARC
Monday.
it has the on sale 8/6/24 on the top of
Yeah,
it.
8/6/24 is when they is the actual pub date, and that's when everybody else can get them. But here at GenCon, we made arrangements so that we could sell them here first. The copies that tomorrow we're doing the unboxing first thing in the morning, and the copies at that convention, people get copies at that event. Literally are the first people to get them. It's,
Oh, I know.
anyway.
He gets number 003.
Probably, or something close. He's been talking about it for like a month, by the way. It was like, I got the unboxing.
And the ending is so good.
So I was like,
Set it up for
It's right there. That's the first one right
RPG based off of it?
What's that?
Does it set it up for maybe a possible RPG to come off of the book?
Dragonlance is a trademark of TSR. No, Hasbro Incorporated. It is used here in this particular case only by special permission.
Okay.
You notice that this is classic Dragonlance. They didn't want you confused with whatever they're doing
Right. Classic or correct versus.
versus whatever
Lots of
they're.
Yes, the other stuff.
Whatever Hasbro it is.
Whatever they're doing is that's accurate.
I don't know.
And the
They
opinion-
never asked, so.
We are not here to besmirch their name. We have another podcast one for that one.
Oh, okay.
We got lots of time for
This
that.
isn't our
later.
besmirching episode.
No.
That's the other episode.
We called it dumpster fire.
Yes,
We had that one episode.
We did.
yeah, that was the title.
Was that a year and a half ago?
Roughly.
Roughly.
That's crazy.
So Dragons of Eternity is coming out at this convention. Now, you are my dearest good friends, and so I've made special arrangements for you guys. We are going to be making announcements at this convention. And for those of you at home,
You missed it.
it's all over now.
Bye.
That said, you should be able to see the recording on our YouTube page, if not somewhere else. I don't
That's
know where he
true.
wants it yet.
But y'all have agreed that what we say here is not going to go out until after Saturday.
Hold on,
Yes,
hold on.
correct.
I hereby promise on a classic Dragonlance book,
Gosh.
I take my oath.
Can't see what's going on. Those just listening. Dr. Deb has her hand on the Dragonlance book and is swearing an oath.
I swear an oath to Raceland.
Oh gosh!
Oh, don't go there.
Hold up to it.
I've got to, okay.
No
That
one
got
will
tense
know.
real fast.
So I'm going to reveal to you what is going to be revealed later on
All
the
right.
condition, of course, that you won't let anybody know about it until after Saturday.
The good news is most of us don't have friends outside of this room.
Oh, so
My kids are in headphones. They have no idea
they
what's
have
going
no
on.
idea. what's
No idea, not even a little
more
bit.
care. So what we are in fact announcing at this convention, I'm very, very excited about. First of all, it was just announced yesterday, I believe, that we are Penguin and Random House are going to be producing an omnibus hardback edition of Dragonlance Chronicles that will be available in February and is now available for pre-order right now. What has not yet been announced, but I'm going to tell you about, is that Legends is also going to get the same treatment. So that there will be a full set of both of those in the same format.
Oh,
And they're
that'd be
gonna-
beautiful.
They're going to be absolutely beautiful.
Awesome.
I have actual
Okay.
goosebumps.
Take our money here.
Oh, wait.
So I've
wait,
already
there's more,
I've already got the
right?
first one pre-ordered at Amazon.
You should have gone to Hickman.com.
He didn't have it up there. He posted to put it up there.
I did. But wait,
There's more.
there's more. When we first started the Destiny series, we had hoped that there would be a readership that would be there, and that all of the dear friends and fans who've come with us on this journey all this time, it was would be interested in coming again. We ran into problems early on, but we fought to have this series available to everyone, and now the last book is coming out. We've been absolutely overwhelmed with the response that everybody's had to the series, and I think it's fair to say that everyone's response has very much rekindled for Margaret and I a love of Dragonlance and of our good fandom. So we are going to be announcing Dragonlance Legacy, a new 3-book series
Nice.
that we are going to be starting, and the first book is currently titled War Wizard, and we're hoping that everybody will pick up their hoopak and join us for a new journey one more time.
Oh yeah.
I think it's safe to say you'll.
That's fantastic.
Gee, I
You'll
hope
have people.
the announcement goes well on Saturday.
I'm gonna say I think you might see hats flying or other.
Yeah. Last I looked, the tickets were
Some
selling
things
well.
maybe we shouldn't.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
The tickets looked like they were selling well. So.
Yeah, the event sold out. So.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's sold
nice.
But it's real well then.
About as well as you can get.
Yes.
So that's what we're doing. Margaret and I have just had such great joy in knowing that everybody's been out there and the support that we've had in it. We want to continue. We'd like to do something else, something new.
Let classic Dragonlance live on.
I'm delighted.
Yes, classic Dragonlance.
I am delighted.
Classic Dragonlance lives.
That
You
you
know.
and Margaret have found a creative, I don't know.
Rekindle.
Yeah, rekindling. That's a great way of describing it. Creative excitement again to be able to keep going because you've written so much. Sometimes I wonder when I look at some of these like incredible like stories that people write. Like, do you get drained telling the story? You never want a story from an author who's drained. You want one from excitement to keep going. And anyway, I'm just delighted that you guys are going to keep going.
Well, and it does come from a place of delight.
Good.
I mean, someone asked us in an interview earlier this week if, well, first they wanted to know what it was like to be the Bob Kane of D&D.
Bob Kane.
Bob Kane.
Bill Finger, they invented Batman.
The
Yeah.
inventor of Batman.
Yeah.
For me, that worked really well because I'm a big Batman fan. I wrote a book
I
with
know,
Batman.
I
Read
that
Wayne of
book.
Gotham if you haven't. It's very good.
Yes, it was in his. Yeah, I think you had it right by your on your
So,
nightstand.
but one of the other questions that they asked on this podcast was how does it feel coming back to Dragonlance? And our response was, well, we never left. You know, it was always dear to us. It was always important to us, and there were always stories to tell. And yes, for a while there, I think I felt like we knew where every rock was. That the granularity had gotten so. Where was there room for story? But and yet we found it, and we keep finding it, and we keep having, and especially like I said, the joy that we've found in this particular in this incarnation has led us to legacy, and we're very, very excited to take another journey.
Yes.
Awesome.
Very, very cool.
Very cool.
Your fans will
A
be
bunch of
very
people are going to be
I
excited.
say
to
you're
take
gonna have a
that
bunch of
journey, too.
people that are excited to come along with you guys.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. My publisher certainly hopes so. But it's actually a pretty exciting time, I think, for Dragonlance. This convention represents the 40th anniversary for Dragonlance. It's so funny that it's the 50th anniversary for D&D. Dragonlance came out as a celebration of the 10th anniversary
Of Dungeons.
of Dungeons and Dragons. And so we're always like a decade behind.
Or are they the ones that are a decade behind?
That's a different
Well, 'cause
podcast.
they keep getting new systems, but they've never been the same.
I'm gonna say
They're older than Dungeons and Dragons now.
classic. That's right. Classic.
Tracy, when was the first Dragonlance book published?
84.
84.
84.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
make the comment I was gonna
Wow. Am I old?
make. I was.
That's when I learned how to spell my name.
When I first came, we'll talk about this in
Dragonlance.
celebration as well.
Yeah.
When I first, I've got to find this for you guys because this is just too fun. When I first came to TSR, I was like 24 years old. The average age of the company was about the same.
Wow.
Okay. And now we've gotten to the point. Now we've gotten to the point. Yes, I know, bread.
I love the reality.
This is why we don't do a lot of editing on this podcast. We capture stuff like that.
Oh no!
The true
You're
to life
making a
is
sandwich.
that's what it is.
You put mayonnaise on the list, you put bacon on the list, but then, I use the last piece of bread.
It happens.
Okay.
Used up all the heels.
That's right.
Okay, so I just have to share this. Okay, we're cleaning out my basement because
Oh, cool.
we've decided. My father passed away this year. He was 90 years old. Bless him. He still had his driver's license.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
We tried to take it away from him, but he went down and took the test and passed. And he was
his
still
heart.
bright right to the very end. But with my father's passing, we then had to go through my father's house, my parents' house. And what is this stuff?
The journey.
And there were, we'd come across things and say, what is this? Why do we have pictures of these people and who are they?
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
That you
Write
don't
the names on the back of everything.
Please.
Oh, that'll
Right.
fade over time.
So this was the thing. So we decided, for the sake of our children, whom we love so very much, we're going to do it now while we know what the stuff is.
Thank you from
Right.
all of them.
And Bill Meinhardt's pretty excited about it because I've got special boxes set aside for him to go through and decide what needs to be, like, I don't know, in the Hickman Library or whatever. But this was the thing.
Librarian.
This was the thing that I found that I was just excited about. I'm going to share this with you guys. When Laura and I'd been out of work for like 6 months in Logan, Utah, could not get a job. We were on church welfare at the time and couldn't take the kids to church that winter because we couldn't afford shoes for the kids. So in an effort to buy shoes for the kids, we sent Rahasia and Pharaoh, the two adventures that we had written and published, self-published, with no real concept of copyright. And we sent them to TSR in the hopes that they would buy them so we could buy shoes for the kids. I found the letter
Oh, that's cool.
that I wrote to Harold Johnson from Logan, Utah, introducing this. Okay, this is the letter.
Letter.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Dear Harold, now I wasn't entirely stupid, but pretty stupid, but not entirely stupid.
You were 24-year-old student.
I was 24-year-old student. Okay.
We've all been there.
It's just outside of teenage student.
Yeah, exactly. It's just next.
It's
to
a
the
little
left.
bit outside of teenage student.
Yeah.
You're smart enough to almost have graduated college, yet you still haven't graduated college.
Your brain's not fully
Yeah.
cooked yet.
Yeah, your
Still
brain ain't
cooking.
there yet. It's still good. Okay. I knew that I couldn't like say, "Hey, I'm desperate. Please buy my stuff."
Right.
Right? Because that's
Yeah,
Desperate.
no, that's
desperate, and then they're
stupid.
gonna buy my stuff for like
Pennies on the dollar.
pennies on the dollar. So I wrote this thing, and this letter is just full of braggadocio that is completely has no foundation whatsoever. Okay.
Oh, it's a piece of fiction.
It is a piece of fiction.
A fiction writer wrote some.
Or, if you prefer, marketing.
It's the same.
I think
Okay.
it's yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay. So, here they are. I just couldn't wait to get them off to you and see just what you think. I have enclosed copies of both our first works, Rahasya and Pharaoh. If I had a box of both of these, I could retire.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Where are they? Because
As well as, I know Joe Manganiello has one.
of course he does.
He had to show it off to me.
I'll bet he's
It felt really strange for me to hold this in my gloved hands.
Yes,
actually.
right.
Yeah.
He probably has 3 safes that are all like keep it safe.
Oh, as well as the sample of the cover artwork for Eye of the Dragon. Some of our old promotional materials, copies of the 2 reviews by Mike Stackpole down at the Sorcerer's Apprentice, as well as copies of what has been gratefully a fairly typical fan letter, because testimonials, man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so. But here's the part that I wanted to share, okay? In addition to the 2 previously produced items, in other words, the stuff we actually made, we currently have several other FRP modules designed, but have not had the time to do the production work on them. In other words, they ain't written yet.
Right, exactly. We've got some great.
These include Eye of the Dragon, Vampire, which was later renamed, Arena, and a 3-set adventure, still adhering to the Night Venture concept, tentatively titled Dragonback,
Oh, wow.
including Sanction, Stonehold, and Citadel,
Nice.
all concerning the capture and raising of dragons for defense of the land. Right here in this letter to Harold Johnson, in the depths of Logan, Utah, and just trying to lie myself into getting.
Just need a paycheck. Just need a
In
paycheck.
alternate universe, he's like, who is this thing?
So
None of
Dragonback,
us exist.
Dragonback.
Okay.
Laura and I, we got in our little Volkswagen Rabbit with our then 2 children in the back seat. We crossed the plains the other way. Most of my ancestors came east to west. And while we were driving across the country, decided that Dragonback was not sharp enough and came up with Dragonlance on the way here. So what we have here actually in this piece of paper is the earliest vestige of Dragonlance.
Dragonlance.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's so cool to see.
That's
beautiful.
really neat.
You shared with us. You shared with how many people are in the thing on Saturday? How many tickets was it?
I think there's 300 tickets on Saturday, and there's 300 tickets for the
Unboxing?
unboxing tomorrow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a ticket to go?
I have for the unboxing, and we're press for the one on Saturday.
Oh,
so.
look at that.
Woohoo.
It's about time we earned those press badges.
We put out at least 2 episodes of something every year for GenCon.
That's right.
At least.
Yeah, you should get a press badge. Well, it's really funny because Margaret found out this year that that booth priority is based not only on how long you've been coming to the convention, but the number of, and the number of events that you produce at the convention and the number of people that come to those as well. Margaret doesn't
Right.
do the events. I do the events.
Right.
So I'm thinking that maybe they should credit every killer breakfast to the Margaret Weiss booth from, like, I don't know, ever.
Ever? Oh, yeah. Well,
I think I'll ask about that. That might be an interesting question.
that would
Yeah.
be. 'Cause
There's another piece of content you can sell is instructions on how to make a killer breakfast.
it's true.
That is true, and in fact, I wish I could do killer breakfast because I had a lot of fun doing. Laura and I both had a lot of fun doing the killer breakfast.
Just get you a throne. Put it on one of the
Just-
scooters.
That's true.
I have a
up
throne in my
stage.
house.
He does.
I did.
can-
You're dead. You're dead.
We're gonna slow moving conveyors.
And the worst part would be the you're dead.
Oh, wait, you're still alive. Now you're dead.
Now you did.
Now you're done.
Oh, so are you volunteering to help with the throne production?
I don't know yet.
Oh yeah, we're doing it in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
make it
I
happen.
could just
That's true.
I have this horrible vision, of coming to some future Gen Con and being like this decrepit guy. You're dead. You're dead.
We'll put iPads
No
on
reason,
top
just
in front of everybody.
It's dead.
You really just need 3 more.
People in the hallway.
You really just need 3 more Joe Manganiellos, and then they can put a throne on top of their shoulders. Carry you around. That's all you really need.
Yeah, like I'm gonna
Yeah.
find 3 more Joe Manganiellos.
Yes. Oh my
Vin
goodness.
Diesel could be another one.
Yeah, one more.
You could call up the rest of the werewolves from True Blood. I'm sure
Yeah.
somebody else around.
I know.
He runs the game for the Big Show. The Big Show could just carry it.
Oh, and Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know why people would be coming, and it would not be seeing me on the
Tracy Hickman's Killer Breakfast, co-starring Jay Manganiello.
As long as he's the first one to die, then it won't matter.
Right.
Now it's all about
the
Tracy.
25 to 49 female demographic.
That's right, that's right.
Fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah.
right there.
We would,
There'll be
we
magic.
would fill the seats. It would be,
See,
yeah.
Sky Raiders and Aberhawks. The Dragons of Destiny series is complete. Dragons of Legacy is on its way, and Joe Manganiello hosts the next Killer Breakfast. Predictions.
We're manifesting.
One of the things I just said is false.
It's not false, Josh. We're manifesting. Manifesting.
Manifesting.
Hold on.
We're marketing.
Yeah, there you go.
Marketing.
Somebody get me a typewriter. I'll send an email.
Wishful. What was it? Wishful. I can't. Oh, sorry. That's spoiler. Sorry.
Oh, my God.
I can't. Sorry.
Joe is a dear friend. He is such a great champion of Dragonlance and D&D. And I'm sorry he can't be here this year. He was able to come last year.
Yeah.
It was so fun having him
Saw
with
him
us.
around in a
Have a
places last
yeah.
year.
There's a really great picture of Joe and Margaret standing next to each other, and Margaret almost gets to his chest. Right. And Joe's got his arm around going,
That's what was funny to me was the fact that he walked around the convention with a Chihuahua.
Was it a Chihuahua or a Pomeranian?
No, it's a Chihuahua.
Okay, I was just saying, it's just the smallest dog ever.
Love your pets.
Yeah.
Love your pets.
oh, they're very
pets,
close.
but-
I've gone out with Joe and walked them. So. Yeah.
It's too funny. Wow.
That's cool.
Lots of stuff going on.
Thanks for
Yes.
sharing it with us.
Yeah, very much so.
Well, first of all, a huge thank you to Tracy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope
for
this
coming.
worked.
Yeah, it's not bad for, you know,
I
our
hope
first,
you find something useful in this.
not bad for our first time together. I think it went really well.
This year?
This year, right? Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
No, I know that we are all
This will all cut down really nicely in about 10 minutes.
nice, good soundbite. We'll get a good soundbite out of this. This will be
We
good.
created an entire TikTok channel.
I was going to say, make a couple TikToks.
Yeah. I mean, we're extremely excited about all of the new works that you've got coming out. Things that we can share and things that we can't. But in general, we're also extremely glad to see you again. We love,
Yes.
Oh,
as
thank
much
you.
as you love coming and hanging out with us, we get giddy about 8 weeks ahead. Just going, are we hanging out with Uncle Tracy this week? Are we hanging out with Uncle Tracy? Do we know yet? Yes? Okay, awesome. Let's put all
I
this
reach
in the-
out about 2 months
Yeah,
before.
absolutely. Absolutely. So,
I think you guys were the first thing on my calendar.
Nice.
so we're excited to see you and have you back with us. We're excited that you're back here at GenCon. We're extremely excited about all of your future projects. And you know, we'll come and visit you in the hall and you know, have our moments and
Please do.
tell some stories.
Here Friday.
Tell Laura to get well from us.
Yeah,
I surely
absolutely.
will. I
Please
surely
do.
will. She's doing much better today.
You should add something to the grocery list just for fun to see if she's. Yeah. Hey, Winnie cream
Watch it
cheese.
pop up on her watch.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Twinkies.
Oh man. Well,
Rice Krispie treats.
that's right. That's right.
That's on her list.
Oh, now we know.
That's it. Well, as we end almost every one of our episodes, we like to recap everything with our established fact. But to go back, we're going to jump back actually 2 episodes because we put together an episode 257 from some of the interviews that we did at PopCon earlier this year. So we're actually on episode 258. But in 256, now that we're time traveling all together, the last fact that we established, what does GenCon and the established facts have in common? The long game.
There was a second
There
one.
was, and I didn't write it down, so I'm only going to say one for now, but the
No.
other one is one of Deb's. Do you remember it?
Of course.
Okay, great.
You will always be welcome at our table.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
There it is. That's way better than
I know,
the first one.
that's-
Yeah. It's all right. We all know this.
I'm trying, and he just
Sorry, my
forgets me.
24-year-old brain
Brain
is still
ain't cooked.
it's starting
Second's
to
done.
it's firming up. And for episode 258 of the Established Facts, Our Stories with Uncle Tracy at GenCon 2024, we have established that you should tell your story, live your moment, and don't ruin Thanksgiving. Just saying. Anyway, thank you guys so much for you guys all being here. I know. Thank you, Tracy, again for you being here. Thank you guys for joining us at GenCon, and we'll check you later.
Always.
Bye.
I didn't know which one to look at.
Goodbye.
Lance gave us direction.
Dude,
Lance,
you
give us directions.
know, I have a really pretty blonde head and then a not so pretty blonde head in between me and Lance.
It's fair.
Totally fair.
That's all right. I've got this here, but back here it's just not good.